right, let's dive right in. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on 5 dark psychology tricks, the kind that can be used to silently influence almost anyone. These are the subtle, under-the-radar techniques that shape decisions every single day, often without us ever noticing.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could actually understand what someone was thinking, what they were feeling, and gently guide their decisions? We're talking about your boss, your friends, anyone, really.
Now, this isn't some kind of magic trick or sci-fi plot. It's real, and it's all based in psychology. In fact, these are the very tools that some of the most powerful leaders and influencers in the world use to get what they want, often making people think the choice was their own all along.
Okay, but before we go any further, I have to put this out there. This is a big one. What we're about to cover is for educational purposes only. Seriously, this stuff is powerful, and misusing it can cause real harm. So with that in mind, let's get started.
So, we're going to kick off our countdown at number 5 with a technique called the revenge trap. And it all hinges on a really funny quirk of human nature. The minute you tell someone they can't do something, well, that's the moment they want to do it more than anything else.
You've heard the saying, right? People want what they can't have. Well, that's exactly what this is. Psychologists call it reactance. It's that little rebellious voice inside all of us that hates being controlled. Forbid something, and you automatically make it 10 times more appealing. And this slide just nails the technique. On the left, you've got a simple request. It's easy to say no to that. But look at the right. Whoa! By suggesting it's too difficult, you're not asking for a favor anymore. You're actually challenging their ego, their ability. And that, right there, changes the entire game. And that's the real genius of it. You see, it completely bypasses our normal defense against being told what to do. You poke their ego, and suddenly they have an internal fire to prove you wrong. The choice to help becomes their idea to show you up. You never even had to ask.
All right, coming in at number 4, we're shifting gears a little bit. This one isn't about challenging the ego, it's about framing the options. It's called the illusion of choice, and I absolutely guarantee you've had this used on you probably within the last 24 hours.
Just look at this classic example. Ask an open-ended question like, want to go out? And you give them a super easy way out. Nah, not tonight. But if you frame the choice, hey, should we do Pizza Hut or Domino's? You've already won. Both of those answers mean you're going out. The no option was never even on the table. And that's the secret sauce, right there. Nobody likes to feel forced into something. But what's funny is we actually crave the feeling of being in control. This technique gives the other person that exact feeling, even though you're the one who designed the maze and all the paths lead exactly where you want them to go.
And once you see this, you'll see it everywhere. Brands do it all the time. Do you want the standard package or the premium one? See? They've already got you. You stopped asking, should I buy this, and started asking, which one should I buy? It's subtle, and it is incredibly effective.
Okay, number 3 is a heavy hitter. This one taps directly into our emotions. It's called the guilt trap. And the reason it's so potent is that while you can resist being forced to do something, it's a lot harder to resist your own feelings of guilt.
Think about it. A direct accusation like, you never have time for me, just makes people defensive. It builds a wall. But the guilt trap? Oof, it's different. It's not an attack. It's a statement that makes them question themselves. It forces them to look in the mirror and confront their own actions.
You see, guilt works because the pressure is coming from inside them, not from you. You're not the bad guy yelling at them, you're just holding up that emotional mirror, and their own conscience does all the heavy lifting, creating this deep need to fix things. They'll be the ones coming to you to apologize.
Now for our runner-up, trick number 2. And this one might just be the most fundamental of them all. It's called the emotional hijack, and it's built on a simple and kind of scary truth about how we're all wired.
The bottom line is this: emotion almost always beats logic. Always. If you can control how someone feels in a given moment, their brain, their logical mind, will bend over backwards to invent reasons to justify that feeling. It's literally like having the remote control to their decision-making process.
Just let that quote sink in for a moment. It's so true. We connect with feelings, not spreadsheets. A great leader doesn't win you over with bullet points. They win you over by making you feel proud, or safe, or even angry. A brand doesn't sell you a phone, it sells you the feeling of being connected and innovative.
So, the process itself is actually pretty strategic. Step 1, figure out the key emotion you need to trigger: fear, pride, love, whatever it is. Step 2, create a scenario that brings that emotion to a boiling point.
And then, step 3, present the decision right at that peak. When they're in that state, the feeling is all that matters, and their choice will reflect that feeling, not cold, hard logic.
And here we are, the number one trick. And you might be surprised, because it is the most counterintuitive one we've talked about. It doesn't use clever words, it doesn't manipulate emotions. In fact, it doesn't use any words at all. It is simply the power of silence.
I think we can all relate to this scenario. Imagine you messed up as a kid. Your mom yells, and yeah, it's annoying, but you can deal with it. But then, your dad just looks at you. He says nothing, just a long, quiet stare. Tell me that silence isn't 1,000 times more powerful than all the shouting in the world. Your whole body just freezes.
Here's why that works. Silence creates a psychological vacuum, and the human mind absolutely hates a vacuum. It makes people deeply uncomfortable. So their brain will scramble to fill that empty space, and it usually fills it with its own worst-case scenarios, its own guilt, its own insecurities.
Your silence literally forces them to look inside. They start replaying what they said, second-guessing themselves. If you're in a negotiation, they might start offering you more, just to break the tension. In an argument, they might start giving up ground. You're making them do all the work, and they'll often tell you everything you need to know.
So, here's the ultimate takeaway. The most powerful person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the person who is watching, who is truly listening while everyone else is talking. Their power and their presence are felt without them having to say a single word.
At the end of the day, that's all these are. They're tools. They can be used to build people up, to inspire, to lead effectively, or they can be used to break people down and control them. The only thing separating good from bad here is your intent. Which leaves us all with a pretty heavy question to think about. Where exactly do you draw the